Today we are joining you from Hindustan Zinc's SK mines here in Dariba, which is around 70 kilometers from the beautiful city of Udaipur in the state of Rajasthan. And we have a very special guest lined up for you today, Arun Misra, CEO at Hindustan Zinc. Sir, thank you so much for taking your time out and hosting us here at your mines. If you can tell us, how important is this mine for you? Let's start by that. How much reserves does this mine have?
So this mine, SK mine, is world's third largest mine, and it produces roughly about a third of our total metal that we produce. Also, this mine is endowed with silver-rich minerals, so almost 70–80% of our silver comes from this mine. And this mine is, puts us in the global map that we are fifth largest producer of silver, and of course, it is world's third largest lead zinc mine.
Understood. And how much revenue does this mine generate for you?
We don't look at it that way. Overall, if you look at it, a $4 billion revenue, it will be about a third of that.
Oh, one third of the total revenue that Hindustan Zinc generates. All right, let's go into your underground conference room then and discuss the outlook for the company.
Sure.
All right, first let's talk about the global macro setup. I understand Hindustan Zinc doesn't directly get impacted because of the global turmoil. But if you can tell us, how does this impact the global commodity market at large? And what kind of impact are you expected to face in terms of zinc prices because of the kind of uncertainty that we are seeing in the global market?
We have seen global uncertainties, but fortunately, it is being caused or affected by one country only.
Indeed.
So there is the retaliatory actions by other countries are not that prominent. So and if there are retaliatory action, they are also directed towards one country only.
Right.
But otherwise, the countries among themselves are doing partnerships.
Correct.
For example, India, China, Russia, the BRICS, the Europe, Canada, they all are now lining up as an alternative market to US market. So we don't see much of a turbulence. If at all any impact, it is there inside USA, their inflation and the prices. If it is outside, the countries which are emerging economy led by India will continue to grow, will continue to spend on infrastructure. The entire emerging economy, India, Southeast Asia, will have a rising steel demand, and of course will have a rising zinc demand as well. Chinese economy will, of course will grow, fueled by, of course, cheaper fuel from Russia, coal from Russia, and the new partnerships are new geopolitical realities are emerging, and I am sure this will now have a new reality where, of course, we are not exporting anything to a USA. We are exporting a very little amount to Europe. We are mostly in Middle East and Southeast Asia. We are not affected at all by that. But overall, if you look at the zinc scenario, yes, there are positive outlook reflected by rising LME prices in the recent past, and I am sure by the year end we should see a $3,000 kind of a price, which will bring back everything in the good time.
Okay, so last time when we spoke to you, I remember you had given a guidance of 2,650 to 2,850, and now you're saying that zinc prices could touch $3,000 per ton in the near future. But since you spoke about Chinese economy, especially even after the kind of stimulus Chinese government has given, it has barely done anything, right? The stimulus has barely moved the needle. If you can tell us, because China is the biggest consumer of most commodities, what kind of impact will Chinese economy have on the global commodity market, especially for zinc?
No, so Chinese economy fundamentals cannot be ignored. One, the huge consumer base, domestic consumer base that they have. Second, the basic size of economy. Even if China stops growing, their 4% growth is enough to eat up maybe 10 other countries. So their 4%, 5% domestic growth rate is wonderful for us. As far as China is concerned, currently, you will see their domestic demand will shoot up, and they are all realized that instead of focusing so much of exports, they have to ensure that the per capita income within the country increases, and hence you are seeing the new realities of Chinese equation. When earlier they were looking only towards USA, now they are looking towards India, towards Russia, and towards Canada, Europe for partnerships. It's a new reality, and I'm sure Chinese growth rate of 4 to 5%, Indian growth rate of 11 to 12% is good enough for all of us.
Okay, and let's also talk about domestic demand environment that has remained resilient. Indian economy continues to remain strong. How do you expect demand to shape up going forward, at least say over the next 2 to 3 years?
No, Indian economy, one is of course like China, our population base, rising middle class, and also a continuous expenditure by Government of India on the infrastructure. Now that has been also given another boost by consumer consumption by way of reduction of GST. Now that is also coupled with modifications in the mining laws that have been done. All in all, you will see this current reform of GST will spark domestic consumption. It will also help lots of secondary, tertiary users of metals going into the market and making consumer goods, which will impact steel industry and of course ourselves in the zinc industry as a addendum to that.
Understood. And let's also talk about your 2x growth strategy, and you've announced a whole host of capex as well for the next few years. Where does your capacity stand currently, and as a result of this growth capex that you've announced, how much will capacity increase by?
So currently we are at about 1.1 million ton capacity roughly. We are adding another 0.25 million ton of new smelter in Dewari, which we have announced for 12,000 crores and additional concentrator, and then the mine expansion that will take us to 1.35 million ton. Very soon we are going to announce another 700,000 tons or 0.7 million ton smelter or 0.65 million ton of smelter of zinc plus lead smelter. So that will add up to maybe 1.9, 1.95, so roughly about 2 million ton. And of course we will do debottlenecking of the current smelters to reach 2 million ton goal. We are planning to increase silver from 750 tons to 1500 tons per year. We are starting a recycling plant in Agucha of 10 million ton tailing recycling plant, which will add another maybe 150 KT of zinc to our total KT. So all in all, the plan is firm on 2 million ton. The investments have already been announced for the first phase. Second and third phase should be announced by November. Although these are phasing of ordering, while the actions are all on the ground, and I am sure in 3 to 4 years time we will see the volume of Hindustan Zinc not only change, also in the meantime some of our new critical mineral blocks will come into play. The offer to the market on metals will also change.
Okay, and let's also talk about how do you aim to finance this capex then?
No, see, our profit after tax every year is roughly about 10,000 crore, and it's a matter of 4 to 5 years of projects, so it's about 50,000 crore. Altogether, we should be spending anywhere between 30 to 35,000 crore. So money-wise, there is no issue, and also we are a AAA rated company. We are generally net debt free company. So everybody would love to give us money for expansion as well.
But how much of it will be financed via internal accruals and how much via external?
We can finance 100%, but it's a matter of choice of whether my treasury earns more money than the interest on loan that I pay.
Right.
Accordingly, some debts may come in and go, but otherwise, generally speaking, it's a self-finance project.
Okay, and let's also talk about your silver business because of the kind of upmove that we've seen in silver prices of late, and you also generate nearly 20% of your revenue from silver operations. And I was specifically asked by my colleague to ask you about silver prices. I'll tell you why. Last time when we interacted with you, you had told us that silver could reach $42 per ounce. It has already crossed that. So what is the next target now?
No, it will now fluctuate at that level, and by January it should remain steady till 42.
Okay.
If it can maintain 42 for say 5 to 6 months, then a new normal will be achieved, and after that the movement will start.
So for now you're saying 42, it is expected to remain range bound in the near future for the next 6 to 8 months.
Absolutely.
Understood. And given the surge that we have seen in silver prices, do you have any capex plans in particular for your silver operations?
So as I said, when I have to put another 750 tons of silver, I have to put a silver refinery.
Okay.
So location, maybe this location itself closest to the mine. And of course we are putting the recycling plant from where again we will take out silver. And for any new smelter coming in, we will have fumer as a part of the smelter so that we can take out silver which is getting lost in the zinc circuit.
Okay, and what about rare earth minerals? I understand you have already acquired a few blocks. The gestation period is long, but when do you expect it to fructify?
So roughly, if the lease deeds are all done now, another 2 years of exploration, we should be able to in a position to start mining. So maybe 2 plus 3, about 5 years time when we said something coming out of the mine.
Okay, and apart from zinc, silver and the rare earth minerals that you're working on, any other metal that you're looking to explore?
No, so all the minerals that critical mineral bouquet that government has, and all that whenever they are coming in, depending upon the priorities, we are bidding for it. So of course we have got vanadium, we have got tungsten, we have got monazite, we have got potash. So we had got gold, but that has got cancelled. but we are looking at more gold properties. So we will, and also platinum group of metals, whenever they come, will be there. So I think our fundamentals are clear. We are expert in deep mining. We are expert in roasting, leaching, smelting. So any of these operations is applicable to any of the minerals, we are there. And yes, we will continue to grow in that space.
And Hindustan Zinc was also looking to demerge its businesses. There has been no update since then. If you can clarify that for us.
No, so right now, see, our hands are full. One hand is Vedanta demerger, other hand is Hindustan Zinc's own growth of 2x. So I'm sure a time will come when the sizes are such, when you are 1500 tons and all that, the size itself will demand a separation as a different business so that more focus can be given.
But is government causing a trouble in?
No, they're all stakeholders in that business, right? So the risk appetite the private entrepreneur can have, government has different view. So the risks of the business, we appreciate, we understand in a different manner. So I'm sure that's why the size is also important. When you have a certain size, the same risks becomes minimal, and that is going to happen after expansion.
So nothing on the table for now. Yes.
Right now, we are too focused on now this growth, critical mineral, how to bring in new metals. Enough of work in our hands now.